What's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. I'm going to do something a little more serious today because a lot of my followers follow me for this kind of content. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I've been listening to for the past couple years on repeat, just different kinds of meditations. But these are amazing. Just listen closely and enjoy. Fair use.
Watch how most people live. Someone says something small, they react. Someone disagrees, they react. A comment online, they react. A delay, an inconvenience, a little disrespect. React, 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 like buttons being pushed, like wires being pulled, like puppets. And they call that personality. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If someone can control your emotions, they control you completely. It doesn't matter how strong you look, how much money you make, how disciplined you are. If a few words can shake you, you are still owned. Most men think power is loud, raised voice, quick comeback, dominance in conversation. But that's not power, that's impulse. And impulse is weakness disguised as strength. The strongest man in the room is usually the quietest. Not because he...
Sorry, hold on, guys. I gotta check something. I'll see you real quick. Sorry, 1 second. I have to check this. Got to, bro. Hopefully I don't get all these games are this weekend, huh? Come on, Scotty. Who's winning this game? This golf shit. Alright, let's go back to the video.
Because he doesn't need to respond to everything. He chooses. And choice is control. Look at what happens when someone insults you. Your chest tightens. Your heart speeds up. Your mind starts building arguments. You feel heat rising. That's biology. That's the nervous system preparing for threat. But here's the part nobody trains. Just because your body reacts doesn't mean you have to. There's a gap, a small one, between stimulus and response. That gap is where power lives. Most people never develop that gap. They react immediately, emotion to action. No filter, no delay, no control. And then they wonder why their lives feel chaotic, because reaction creates chaos. Response creates control. Let's break this down clearly. If someone can make you angry, make you defensive, make you insecure, make you jealous, make you rush, then they're steering your behavior. You're not moving freely.
I live by these, literally. I live by them.
Being moved. The man who doesn't react immediately cannot be steered. He listens, he observes, he lets the emotion rise and fall without obeying it. That is rare. Most people are addicted to reaction. Drama feels alive, conflict feels powerful, outrage feels important, but it's all energy leakage. Every unnecessary reaction drains you. Every emotional spike weakens your clarity. And here's what's worse. When you react, you reveal your pressure points. You show people exactly where you're insecure, exactly where you're sensitive, exactly where you can be manipulated. The man who stays calm reveals nothing. And mystery is power. Notice something. The people who win long-term, they move slowly, they speak carefully, they don't rush to defend themselves, they don't argue every opinion, they don't jump into every battle. They conserve energy because they understand something critical. Not every fight deserves your reaction. Most people fight every small fire. They're exhausted.
So basically choose your battles, man. Pick and choose your battles because you're not going to win them all. So pick and choose what you want to go to war with because you can't win them all, you know?
Emotionally unstable, mentally scattered, the control
Never react quickly, you know, it's confidence to take a pause, even between sentences or between changing paragraphs. A slight deep breath or a change of pace or whatever it is, you know, a pause in between. You don't want to put too many and you know, you want to fill those spaces with silence. Makes you sound a lot more confident also.
man chooses his fires. And because he reacts less, when he finally does speak, it matters. Let me ask you something.
Yeah, for example, if someone's always talking, you're not going to really want to listen to what they have to say because they're always talking and they're annoying, right? But if you have somebody who never really speaks and then they finally say something, you're probably going to sit there and listen because they rarely ever talk. And I'm sure that when they do say something, it's going to be something important, you know? Anyways, I'll let this run a little bit.
When was the last time someone tried to provoke you? Did you A, feel it and pause? Or B, feel it and explode? Be honest, because that answer tells you how much control you really have. Self-control is not about suppressing emotion. It's about mastering response. You will feel anger. You will feel frustration. You will feel disrespect. That's human. But what you do next defines your level. Imagine two men. One reacts instantly, raises voice, defends ego, proves himself. The other listens, pauses, speaks once, calmly. Who looks
See, I didn't even know he was going to say that.
stronger? Who feels more dangerous? Who seems harder to manipulate? The man who doesn't react easily forces others to question themselves. They can't read him. They can't shake him. They can't predict him. And unpredictability combined with calm. That's control.
I think we're gonna go with you guys.
That's great. Awesome. Let me get the contract.
One last thing, you're SOC 2 compliant, right?
SOC 2. What do you mean SOC 2? I thought we saw that months ago.
Well, now they're quoting us 5 months at 30.
No.
Here's another truth. Reaction is often ego. You react because your image feels attacked. Your identity feels threatened. Your pride feels bruised. But when you're secure, you don't need to protect your image constantly. You don't need to correct every misunderstanding. You don't need to win every argument. Silence is not weakness. Delayed response is not fear. Calm is not submission. It is discipline. Right now, most men are overstimulated. Constant news, constant social media, constant outrage. They're always emotionally charged, and that makes them easy to control. Because emotional people are predictable. Calm people are not. If you want real power, train yourself to pause. Train yourself to breathe before speaking. Train yourself to feel the emotion without obeying it. That is harder than lifting weights.
Yeah, you just observe the emotion and move on.
Harder than waking up early. Harder than grinding. Because it requires internal dominance. The man who doesn't react is not passive. He is precise. He waits. He watches. He understands. Then he moves. And when he moves, it's intentional. This is the beginning, not of silence, not of suppression, but of command. Command over impulse, command over emotion, command over energy. There's something most people never realize. The world doesn't need to overpower you. It just needs to provoke you. That's enough. If someone can predict your reaction, they can guide your behavior. And if they can guide your behavior, they don't need force. They have control. Look at how easily people are triggered now. One comment, one opinion, one disagreement. Suddenly the heart rate rises, the voice changes, the posture tightens, it's automatic. And that's the problem. Automatic men are controllable men. An emotional man is predictable. He reacts to disrespect. He reacts to criticism. He reacts to delay. He reacts to pressure. You can almost script his behavior. Push here, anger. Push there, insecurity. Ignore him, ego flares. He's readable, and readable men are easy to manipulate. The man who doesn't react immediately, he's hard to study, hard to provoke, hard to move, because there's space between stimulus and action. That space is protection. Let's break something down. When someone insults you, what are they actually doing? They're testing your stability. They're checking if your emotions are stronger than your discipline. If you explode, you lose. Not because of the insult, but because you surrendered control. Control isn't about winning arguments. It's about refusing to be pulled into battles that don't serve you. Every reaction is a transaction. You're trading energy for ego. And ego is expensive. Notice something about calm people. They don't chase closure. They don't need to respond to every misunderstanding. They don't correct every false assumption, because they understand something most don't. Not every opinion deserves access to your nervous system. The world is loud on purpose. Outrage spreads faster than logic. Drama spreads faster than discipline. And if you react to everything you see, you will never have peace. Emotional regulation is a competitive advantage in business, in relationships, in leadership, in life. Because while others are reacting, you're observing. While others are escalating, you're calculating. Most conflicts are traps. They pull you into a lower state, a reactive state. And once you're reactive, your clarity drops. Your judgment weakens. Your decisions shrink. Think about how many mistakes people make in moments of emotion. Anger sends messages that regret has to clean up. Impulse destroys opportunity.
On the daily, bro.
Patience could have secured. A single emotional decision can undo months of discipline. This is why controlling your nervous system matters more than controlling your schedule. You can wake up at 5 a.m. You can work hard. You can stay consistent. But if you collapse under emotional pressure, you're still fragile. Strength is not volume. Strength is stability. Can you stay calm when someone tries to provoke you? Can you hold eye contact without needing to dominate? Can you hear criticism without defending instantly? That's power. The man who doesn't react quickly forces others to reveal themselves. They keep talking, they keep pushing, they keep trying, and eventually they expose their weakness. Because emotional people always overextend. Calm people don't. Let's go even deeper. Why do people react so fast? Because they tie their identity to everything. Every disagreement feels personal. Every challenge feels like an attack. Every delay feels like disrespect. So they fight constantly, exhausting themselves. Secure men don't need constant defense. Their identity isn't fragile. They know who they are.
Exactly. That's the most men who are grounded and know who they are, know what they're made of, know where they stand, and they don't just fall for anything because they stand for something. You know, they stand on whatever it is that they say that they stand on.
So small provocations don't shake them. They don't rush to prove. They don't rush to respond. They choose. And that choice changes everything, because the man who chooses when to speak controls the tempo, controls the energy, controls the room. When you react, you surrender tempo. When you pause, you take it back. Tempo is power. Most men are externally strong but internally unstable. They lift heavy weights, but can't hold silence. They look intimidating, but can't tolerate disrespect without collapsing into anger. That's not dominance. That's insecurity with muscles. True dominance is internal. Your heart rate stays steady. Your breathing stays controlled. Your voice stays measured. Even when someone is trying to shake you, especially then. Imagine someone trying to provoke you, and you just look at them. Not cold, not aggressive, just steady. They lose power immediately because their weapon, your reaction, didn't work. From today, start noticing triggers. What makes you defensive? What makes you rush? What makes you prove? That's your weak point. And weak points must be trained, not ignored. Control doesn't happen by accident. It's trained, just like strength, just like endurance, just like discipline. And the training ground is daily life, not some extreme moment, not some dramatic conflict, the small moments. That's where mastery is built. You don't become calm in chaos if you're chaotic in normal life. If you snap in traffic, if you get irritated in lines, if you argue over small things, you are rehearsing weakness. Every small reaction is practice. The question is, what are you practicing? You say you want control, but every time you react instantly, you reinforce the habit of impulsiveness. Neurons fire together, wire together. Reaction becomes identity. I'm just like that. No. You train that, and you can untrain it. The first step is awareness. You must catch the reaction before it leaves your mouth, before it leaves your face, before it leaves your body. That split second, that's the battlefield. When something triggers you, don't speak, don't move, don't defend. Breathe, slowly, deep, once, twice. That breath is not weakness, it's interruption. You are interrupting impulse. Most people never interrupt impulse. They obey it instantly, like reflex. But reflex is for survival, not for leadership, not for dominance, not for control. Here's a simple rule. If your emotion spikes, delay your response. High emotion equals slow reaction. Low emotion equals clear action. Flip the pattern. If you feel angry, slow down. If you feel rushed, pause. If you feel attacked, soften your voice. This feels unnatural at first because you've trained the opposite. But unnatural is where growth lives. Another thing, control your face. Your facial expression reveals everything. Eyebrows tighten, jaw clenches, eyes narrow. That's leakage, energy leakage. Train your face to stay neutral under pressure. Not blank, not fake, neutral, steady.
I asked my husband, when did you get so big? His confidence hits different with Rougiette Ready. It dissolves under his tongue, works in...
Now let's talk about voice. Your voice speed tells people your state. Fast voice equals emotional. Loud voice equals unstable. Measured voice equals controlled. Slow your speech by 10%. You'll feel calmer instantly, and people will feel your stability. Control is physiological before it is psychological. Your body must feel safe before your mind can be strategic. So train your body, cold exposure, hard workouts, breathing under stress. These build nervous system strength, not just muscle. Because the truth is, most men don't have weak minds. They have weak nervous systems. Their body panics, their heart spikes, their breathing shortens, and then they think they lost control. No, your body overwhelmed you. Train it. Put yourself in small discomforts and stay calm inside them. Hold eye contact longer. Sit in silence without filling it. Let someone finish speaking without interrupting. These are small disciplines, but they build massive control. Here's something powerful. When someone tries to provoke you, instead of reacting, observe them. Study their tone, their insecurity, their need for response. Shift from participant to observer. Once you observe, you detach, and once you detach, you control. Reaction pulls you into emotion. Observation pulls you into awareness. Awareness is higher ground. Fight from higher ground. always.
Oh, I like that.
You don't need to win arguments. You need to win yourself. Every time you into awareness. Once you observe, you detach, and once you detach, you control. Reaction pulls you into emotion. Observation pulls you into awareness. Awareness is higher ground. Fight from higher ground. Always. You don't need to win arguments. You need to win yourself. Every time you feel the urge to react and you choose not to, you win quietly. No applause, no recognition, but internally, you just grew stronger. This is the part nobody sees. Nobody claps for restraint. Nobody celebrates emotional discipline. But that's why it's rare. And rare is valuable. The dangerous man isn't dangerous because he's aggressive. He's dangerous because he's precise. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't waste words. He doesn't waste reactions. When he moves, it's calculated. When he speaks, it's intentional. And here's the hidden benefit. When you stop reacting, people start respecting you differently. Not because you demand it, but because you radiate stability. Stability feels powerful, even if people don't understand why. Most people try to look strong. Very few train to be unshakable. Be unshakable. That's the goal. From today, practice this. When triggered, count 3 seconds before responding. When emotional, breathe twice before speaking. When insulted, hold eye contact and say less. Say less. Power speaks less. Most people are terrified of silence. Have you noticed that? A conversation pauses for 3 seconds, and someone rushes to fill it. Nervous laugh. Extra explanation. Unnecessary words. Why? Because silence exposes insecurity. When you stop reacting, when you stop over-explaining, when you stop defending instantly, people feel it, and it unsettles them. Because now they can't read you. And when they can't read you, they can't control you. Weak men use noise to feel strong. They talk over others. They repeat themselves. They justify every move. They explain every decision. They think dominance is volume. It's not. Dominance is comfort and stillness. Silence forces the other person to sit with their own words. If someone insults you, and you immediately fire back, now it's a fight. But if you look at them, calm, unbothered, and say nothing, now they're alone with what they said, and that's uncomfortable. Silence flips pressure. The reactive person carries tension. The silent person holds it. Pressure transfers. Always. You want to see who's emotionally unstable? Disagree with them calmly. Then stop talking. Watch what happens. They'll try to pull you into reaction. They'll raise volume. They'll repeat themselves. They need your emotional response to feel validated. Don't give it. When you don't react, you expose emotional dependence in others. They depend on stimulation, on drama, on engagement. You don't. And that imbalance shifts power. But understand this clearly. Silence is not passive aggression. It's not ignoring to punish. It's not cold withdrawal. It's composed restraint. There's a difference. Your energy is steady, not hostile, not defensive, just grounded. The man who is grounded doesn't rush. He doesn't scramble for words. He doesn't chase approval. He doesn't need to win verbally. He wins internally first. And that internal win shows. There's something else about silence. It creates mystery, and mystery creates authority. When you say less, people listen more closely. When you don't explain everything, people assume depth. When you don't react, people assume control. Because control.
Yes, exactly. That's why it's so important when somebody's having a conversation with you for you to hold eye contact, right? Hold eye contact and pause when you're supposed to pause, take a deep breath when you're supposed to take a deep breath, and then you continue to speak when you're supposed to continue to speak. There's no need to rush. That's anxiety. Just be cool, pause, try not to say too many ums, like I just said, and you'll be fine, dude. You'll be fine. Continue to listen to this video. It's a lot of great information. I used to meditate to these videos every morning.
Is rare. Notice leaders who command rooms without yelling. They speak slowly. They pause deliberately. They allow silence to breathe. That pause, that's confidence. They're not afraid of stillness. Most men are addicted to proving intelligence, proving strength, proving status. And that need to prove exposes insecurity. The man who knows his value doesn't argue for it. He embodies it. Here's something powerful. Next time someone challenges you, answer briefly, then stop. Let them process. Don't rush to soften it. Don't rush to justify. Hold the space. That space is power. When you remove unnecessary words, you remove emotional leakage. And when you remove leakage, your presence strengthens. People feel it. They might not understand it, but they feel it. Silence also protects your strategy. If you react emotionally, you reveal intentions. You reveal weakness. You reveal thought patterns. But when you stay composed, you reveal nothing. And that makes you difficult to predict. Unpredictable plus calm is intimidating. Not loud, intimidating. Quiet, intimidating. The kind that makes people cautious, measured, respectful. And here's the deeper layer. Silence gives you time. Time to think, time to analyze, time to choose. While others rush emotionally, you're calculating. While others escalate, you are assessing. That delay is advantage. Most people lose because they rush. They speak too soon, commit too soon, argue too soon. Emotion moves faster than wisdom. You must slow the tempo. Take control of pace. Control of pace equals control of situation. From today, practice being comfortable in silence, in conversations, in tension, in disagreement. Don't rush to fix the discomfort. Let it exist. Watch who breaks first. It's rarely the steady one. The man who doesn't react, the man who doesn't rush, the man who isn't afraid of silence, becomes heavy, not physically, energetically. He carries weight, presence, authority, and presence is more powerful than noise. Everything we talked about means nothing if you only use it when it's easy. Control is not proven in comfort. It's proven in pressure. When money is tight, when someone disrespects you publicly, when a relationship ends, when you lose, when you're misunderstood, when you're tested, that's the real exam. Anyone can stay calm when things go their way. That's not strength. Strength is when your world shakes and your voice doesn't. When your chest tightens and you still choose your response. When your ego screams and you silence it. That's power. The man who doesn't react doesn't suppress emotion. He processes it. There's a difference. Suppression is pretending you don't feel. Control is feeling everything, but choosing your action. You can feel anger without becoming angry. You can feel fear without becoming fearful. You can feel pressure without panicking. Emotion is human. Reaction is choice. Most men confuse intensity with strength. They think explosive equals powerful, but explosives destroy randomly. Precision wins wars. Calm is precision. Let's make this practical. Imagine someone tries to embarrass you in front of others. Old version of you? Immediate reaction, defensive tone, sharp words. Maybe you win the argument, but you lose something bigger. Composure, respect, authority. Now imagine the controlled version. You listen, you hold eye contact, you respond slowly, briefly. or maybe you don't respond at all. The room feels the difference because emotional noise is common. Composed restraint is rare. Rare commands attention, or imagine business pressure. A deal falls apart. Unexpected loss. Most people panic, make rush decisions, blame others. But the man who cannot be moved, he breathes. He gathers information. He adjusts calmly. Pressure reveals hierarchy, and calm people rise to the top. Here's the truth. Most won't tell you. The world tests emotional stability constantly. Social media, news, opinions, provocation, comparison, everything is designed to trigger you. Because triggered people are predictable. Predictable people are controllable. Uncontrolled people are profitable. But a man who controls himself, he's hard to manipulate, hard to sell fear to, hard to push around, hard to destabilize. That's dangerous. And understand something deeper. When you stop reacting, you gain something unexpected. Clarity. You see patterns faster. You read people better. You sense insecurity. You sense intention. Because your mind isn't flooded with emotion. It's sharp, observing, calculating. You become slower in reaction, but faster in understanding. That's real intelligence.
Genius, I need a financial plan.
I have your new budget and financial plan ready.
I just moved. Why is this so high?
Found a lower plan. You'll save $35 a month. Switch now?
Yes.
Now let's bring this home. The man who doesn't react controls arguments, controls negotiations, controls tension, controls rooms. But more importantly, he controls himself when nobody is watching. That's the foundation. Because if you need validation, you'll react. If you need to win every exchange, you'll react. If you need approval, you'll react. Detach from those needs, and your reactions disappear. Self-control is freedom. Freedom from provocation, freedom from manipulation, freedom from ego traps, freedom from emotional slavery, and freedom feels powerful. But this isn't built overnight. It's daily, in traffic, in disagreement, in delay, in criticism, in silence. You train it there. So when real pressure comes, you're ready. Let me ask you something. Who are you when you're angry? Who are you when you're challenged? Who are you when you lose? That's your real identity. Not when you're winning. Not when things are smooth. Pressure reveals truth. If you want to control more in life, start by controlling less externally. Stop trying to control people. Stop trying to control outcomes. Control your response. That's it. That's the lever. And once people realize they can't shake you, they change around you. They measure words more carefully. They approach with more respect. They stop testing as much. Because tests only continue when they work.
I've tested this theory myself. It absolutely 100% works. Video is almost done. You guys aren't responding in the chat again, which is cool. Y'all are here, so that's all that matters.
Stop working, they stop coming. The man who cannot be moved moves everything. Not with force, with presence, with stability, with unshakable energy. This is not about being cold. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being centered, balanced, grounded, dangerous in the quietest way possible. Imagine walking into every room knowing nobody here can control my emotions. Nobody here can rush me. Nobody here can provoke me into weakness. That confidence is different. It's silent, but heavy. And when you live like that long enough, it becomes who you are. Not something you try. Not something you remember to do. Identity. The man who doesn't react becomes the man who cannot be moved. And the man who cannot be moved controls everything that matters. First himself, then his path, then his life. Build that, train that, protect that, and watch how differently the world treats you. Because the loud are noticed, but the unshakable are respected. Stay steady.
Do you need a loan for your business? Well, if you've been around for over a year, I'm about to show you how to get up to $3 million in funding. Sounds too good to be true? Then come closer. I'm about to show you how you can access the capital your business needs without putting up a king's ransom to get it. You don't need a $100 million business. You don't need to spend weeks filling out paperwork. And you certainly don't need to pay sky-high interest rates. All you need is a business that's older than 12 months and makes at least $200,000 in revenue per year. Check it out.
So yeah, let's do one more. Since you're still here.
You keep trying to win with the same mind that keeps losing. That's the problem no one wants to admit. You don't need more motivation. You don't.
Did you hear what he said, man? I'm just gonna rewind it just one more time.
You keep trying to win with the same mind that keeps losing. That's the problem no one wants to admit.
So real, this guy smacked you with some reality, dude.
You don't need more motivation. You don't need another routine. You don't need a new productivity app or another morning checklist. You need a different mind. Because the version of you that wins doesn't think like the version of you sitting here right now. Winning isn't blocked by opportunity. Winning is blocked by identity. You're trying to build discipline with a mind that still negotiates with comfort. You're trying to build strength.
And watching me, and it's funny because look, there's somebody watching, literally watching me, and they will not put in the chat who they are or where they're from. But I was told that there was somebody going to be doing exactly this, so it's kind of crazy, man.
The mind that still protects weakness. You're trying to build focus with a mind addicted to distraction. And you wonder why nothing sticks. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they never become the person their goals require. They want the result without becoming the structure that can hold it. Success is heavy, not physically, mentally, emotionally, structurally. And if you don't change internally, success doesn't elevate you. It crushes you. The version of you that wins doesn't wake up excited every day. He wakes up clear. There's a difference. Excitement fades. Clarity stays. Right now, your mind is built around feeling good. The winning version of you is built around being effective. And those two versions cannot live in the same house. You want proof? Look at your decisions. You delay hard tasks until you feel ready. You break routines when life becomes inconvenient. You look for reassurance before you move. That's not laziness. That's identity. Your mind is trained to protect comfort, not pursue growth. And comfort is dangerous. Not because it feels bad, because it feels safe while quietly keeping you small. The winning version of you has a different relationship with discomfort. He doesn't interpret it as danger. He interprets it as direction. When things get difficult, most people slow down. The winning version leans forward. Not aggressively, not emotionally, strategically, calmly, like pressure is expected. That mindset shift changes everything. Because once discomfort stops scaring you, nothing can control you anymore. You're not stuck because life is hard. You're stuck because your mind still expects life to be easy. And life doesn't reward expectation. It rewards adaptation. The truth is simple, but most people avoid it. You cannot build a strong life with a fragile mindset. And fragility doesn't always look like weakness. Sometimes it looks like overthinking. Sometimes it looks like procrastination. Sometimes it looks like perfectionism. Sometimes it looks like emotional reactions. Fragility is anything that makes you unstable under pressure, and winning requires stability. The version of you that wins is boring to most people. He repeats actions daily. He shows up without emotional drama. He doesn't need inspiration to perform. He moves based on standards, not moods. That sounds simple. It's not. Because your current mind is wired to chase stimulation, social media, validation, quick results, temporary dopamine. That wiring makes discipline feel painful. But here's what most people never realize. Discipline isn't painful. Withdrawal from distraction is painful. Your mind resists consistency, not because consistency is hard, because distraction has made you weak. And weakness doesn't disappear with motivation. It disappears with exposure to controlled struggle. The winning mindset understands something powerful.
I was born here in Arizona. I was raised in upstate New York.
Comfort is expensive.
I can listen to all this all day, bro. Comfort is expensive. It's so expensive, dog. Like, being comfortable will cost you your life, and it will fill you full of regrets. Trust me. I'm 39 years old. I've been around the block a little bit. Okay? So I'm on here because I want the kids that are younger than me to understand that you can do anything and be anything you want in life. It may sound corny, dude, but it's a fact. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want. You are the architect of your life. You're the builder. You are the driver. You are the choreographer. You are the architect. You are the orchestrator. You are the planner. Okay? Nobody else. You and God. That's it.
Discipline is cheaper long-term. Comfort charges interest. You pay later with regret, stress, and lost potential. Discipline charges upfront, but once it's paid, you own stability. Right now, your mind negotiates everything. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. I just need the right mood. The winning version of you doesn't negotiate with standards. He executes them. Negotiation is where goals go to die. Because every time you negotiate with your responsibilities, comfort wins. The winning mindset removes debate. It replaces questions with instructions. Not, do I feel like doing this? But, this is who I am now. That shift sounds small. It changes everything. Because identity eliminates hesitation. When your actions depend on feelings, you become unpredictable. When your actions depend on identity, you become reliable. And reliability is power most people never build. Look at people who quietly dominate life. They're not emotional performers. They're consistent executors. They don't announce discipline. They live inside it. Another truth most people ignore. Winning requires emotional restraint, not emotional suppression. Restraint. Your current mindset reacts quickly. You get frustrated quickly, discouraged quickly, distracted quickly, excited quickly. That instability destroys long-term progress. The winning mindset moves slower emotionally. It absorbs pressure without immediate reaction. It pauses. It evaluates. It responds deliberately. That calm response isn't natural. It's trained, and it begins when you stop letting feelings make decisions. Feelings are temporary weather. Identity is climate. Winning belongs to people who operate by climate, not weather. You also have to understand this. The version of you that wins is lonely sometimes. Not socially lonely, mentally lonely. Because once your standards rise, your environment changes, your habits change, your conversations change, your tolerance for nonsense disappears. That separation is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because growth isolates before it elevates. Most people quit transformation during this phase. They mistake isolation for failure. It's not failure, it's recalibration. You are outgrowing environments, patterns, and beliefs that kept you average. And average always feels familiar. The winning mindset chooses unfamiliar growth over familiar stagnation. Every time. Quietly, consistently. Another brutal truth. The winning version of you doesn't chase confidence. He builds evidence. Confidence built from hype disappears quickly. Confidence built from repeated discipline becomes permanent. Every day you keep promises to yourself. You become harder to doubt. Not because you talk differently, because you've proven consistency internally. And internal trust is the strongest form of confidence. It doesn't depend on outcomes. It depends on reliability.
I really want to work out.
Right now, you're trying to become successful externally without becoming trustworthy internally. That's why progress feels unstable.
Almost
The version of you that wins trusts himself, not blindly, but because he has evidence, daily evidence, quiet evidence. This mindset takes time to build. It's not built in one breakthrough moment. It's built in ordinary days, when no one is watching, when progress feels invisible, when results feel delayed, and you continue anyway. That's where transformation actually happens. Not in dramatic decisions, in repeated execution. You don't become dangerous through intensity. You become dangerous through consistency. And consistency requires a mind that stops searching for excitement and starts valuing control. The version of you that wins doesn't need motivation speeches daily. He becomes his own structure, his own accountability, his own standard. And when you reach that point, life stops feeling chaotic because your internal world becomes organized. Most people spend their lives trying to control.
It's true. Once your inner world becomes organized, your outer world starts to follow suit. And a lot of people think it's the other way around. So they try to control everything in their life, and then everything inside is out of control and reckless. You know what I mean? So most people that have no control of their lives will try to control other people in their lives. And that's the part where people get annoyed with those kinds of people. And mine used to always say, you can't cover the sun with one finger, meaning you can't paint a narrative, man. Like you can't, try to paint a narrative in people's eyes. Like what you see is what you get. Like they're looking right at the truth. So you can't cover it up, dude. You can't cover something so massive with one finger. It's just one of those sayings that sticks.
External circumstances. The winning version controls internal reactions. That's the difference between fragile success and permanent strength. Right now, you don't need to do more. You need to think differently about everything you already do. Because the moment your mindset shifts, your discipline stabilizes, your focus sharpens, your emotions settle. Your progress accelerates quietly. And that shift begins with one uncomfortable acceptance. The version of you that built your current life is not the version that will build your next one. Something in you has to change. Not your goals, not your dreams. You, not loudly, not dramatically, but structurally, permanently. Because winning is not achieved, winning is embodied. And the moment your identity changes, your results eventually follow. Always. The question is no longer, can you win? The real question is, are you willing to become someone completely different to do it? The hardest part of becoming the version of you that wins isn't learning new habits. It's letting the old version of you die, quietly, without a ceremony, without closure. Most people try to upgrade themselves without removing what's broken. They stack new routines on old thinking. They add discipline on top of weak identity. They try to move forward while dragging the past behind them. And it never works. Because transformation isn't addition, it's subtraction. The old version of you is familiar, even when it's miserable, especially when it's miserable. Your brain prefers what it knows, not what's better. That's why you go back to old patterns when pressure hits. Not because you want to fail, because your nervous system recognizes them as safe. Comfort isn't what feels good. Comfort is what feels known. And known patterns are hard to kill. The version of you that wins understands this. You don't negotiate with old habits.
At this point, you're probably not avoiding therapy because of stigma. You're probably avoiding
You just
therapy
do what
because
you
you've
gotta do,
become
man.
very
Change your
good at
habits,
coping. So good that you
replace
stop
them,
noticing
get
how
better
heavy.
habits.
You starve them. Every time you hesitate, rationalize, delay, or over-explain,
You guys get the point, right? So I want to watch a little bit of that. So let's see. I wanted to also watch some other stuff. So let's see what else we got. Alrighty. I know Ryan Garcia is fighting here soon. Let's see. Huh. This is an interesting video. 2 sets is king. You guys want to watch that? I'm going for a knock. No, it's just soccer. I've always had issues with that phone, so let's talk. Maybe we stuck it on.
Most people don't train too little, they train too comfortably. I now do 2 working sets per exercise, spending about 45 minutes in the gym. And people always ask if that's enough. If those sets are actually hard for you, it is enough. If not, you can do 10 and it won't matter. Walk into any gym at 5 p.m. and you'll see the same thing. It's loud, it's crowded. People are moving, weights are clanking, and everyone looks incredibly busy. You'll see a guy over at the bench press. Yeah, he's been there for 30 minutes. He's done 5 half sets already. He's checking his phone, looking in the mirror, adjusting his belt. He looks like he's working hard. He'll leave 90 minutes later, his muscles full of blood, feeling like he's achieved something. But if you look at that same guy 6 months from now, he'll look exactly the same. His numbers won't have moved. His physique won't have changed. He's stuck in the most common trap in the fitness world. He doesn't train too little. He trains too comfortably. This is where most people mess it up. They've been lied to by a culture that values time spent over work done. They think that being in a gym for 2 hours is a badge of honor. It isn't. It's usually just an admission that you don't know how to actually push yourself. You're hiding the volume because the volume is safe. The volume lets you feel productive without ever having to face the discomfort of real intensity. We're going to talk about why doing less is actually the only way most of you will ever get more jacked. Let's look at what that guy in the bench press is actually doing. We'll call him Chad. Chad has 4 sets of bench scheduled. Set 1 is a feeler. He's just getting the blood moving. Set 2 is his working weight, but he's managing his effort. He's at about 80%. He's thinking about the sets he has left, so he holds back. He doesn't want to burn out too early. The 3rd set's getting closer. He's starting to breathe a bit harder, but there's still 2 or 3 reps left in the tank. Then comes set 4. Now he's maybe pushing, but he's tired, not from intensity, but from fatigue. He's accumulated so much junk volume that he's too exhausted to actually reach the point of failure where growth lives. He finishes 15 exercises, 20 sets per muscle group. He's got a great...
At Fanatics Sportsbook, every bet feels rewarding. Use FanCash to boost, bet, and collect across the entire Fanatics world. Earn up to 10%.
pump. He feels accomplished.
This is most people at the gym right here, okay?
But he never actually went hard on a single set. He spread moderate effort across 20 sets instead of concentrating real concentrated intensity into 2. Moderate effort, no matter how much volume you stack on top of it, doesn't force your body to adapt. It just makes you tired. Your body is a survival machine. It doesn't want to grow muscles. Muscle is metabolically expensive. It's heavy. It's a burden. Your body will only build it if it's absolutely forced to. Now, if you're a complete beginner, you can get away with a lot. In the first few months, your body's so shocked by the gym that almost any stimulus will make you grow. But that honeymoon phase ends fast. Once your body realizes it isn't going to die from a light workout, it stops changing. A set performed at 80% effort gives a seasoned body zero reason to change. It says, I can handle this. I don't need to adapt. You're just filling time. And most people avoid intensity by hiding in volume. It's a way to feel like you're disciplined without actually having to do the hard thing. This reality becomes very clear when you stop living only in the gym. If the gym is your entire life, you can afford to lift for 90 minutes, but a lot of you don't have that luxury. You have a job, you have a family, you have a life that demands your presence. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you're doing cardio 3 or 4 times a week on top of your lifts. Maybe you're training for a marathon. When you start adding miles on top of your iron, you hit a wall very fast. There's no more room for BS. When you have to get a 5-mile run in after your upper body session, you start asking a question most lifters never do. Is this set actually doing anything? When you're a hybrid athlete or just a busy man, you realize that every minute in the gym is a withdrawal from your recovery bank. If you spend 40 minutes doing fluff sets for your chest, you're just stealing energy from your runs, your work, and your sleep. Half effort starts feeling pointless. It starts feeling like a waste of your life. You're either pushing the sets that matter or you're just filling time. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. You realize that most of what people do in the gym is just decorative. It's just noise. When lifting is the only thing you do, moderate sets are easy to tolerate. You finish the workout, you got a pump, you feel fine, and nothing feels wrong. But add a 5-mile run on top of that, and those same sets don't feel productive anymore. It just feels like you're tired for no reason. Let's get into the mechanics. What actually stimulates muscle growth? It isn't the number of sets. It's the recruitment of high threshold motor units. Your muscle fibers need to be recruited hard enough that your nervous system sends a signal saying, I almost failed. I need to get stronger to survive this next time. That signal only happens at the end of a set. It happens when the bar slows down. It happens when your brain is screaming at.
It's very true though, man. A lot of people don't know how to work. Some little bit of tips for some of you folks that don't know how to lift or just getting started, you know. I'm trying to find some cool shit to watch. I'm always on here watching cool shit. I don't want to hear Stephen A. Especially I went to that island. Bunch of core fight or heard him. Let's hear Sneako's meltdown.
Wallahi, I made a mistake. Wallahi, I made a mistake. Wallahi, I made a mistake.
Huge day for the internet drama scene. Nico just torched his own career live on stream, and all because of a plate of pork ribs. The chat went wild, spam flying everywhere, people yelling, that's pork, stop. It was total chaos. The clip shows him sitting there, calm at first, before the panic.
People are exaggerating so much. So let's find something good though, because I don't want some BS.
Yo, there's no way to sugarcoat this.
That's for sure. I agree with this guy. I've been watching it.
Solo toma 9 meses.
Let's watch this video about
9 meses, and you can uplift your family.
Yo, there's no way to sugarcoat this.
I said
Pearl is a hating ass. This woman is so bitter. I've never seen anybody this bitter ever before in my life. And you parent that Pearl is jealous of a lot of women because they get attention and they get men when she doesn't. But she fails to realize that this much pandering towards men looks extremely desperate. You're not gonna get a man like this, Pearl. Anyway, you guys remember the Brett Cooper video that I made like a few days ago. Pearl is basically reacting to Brett's response to this entire situation. So guys, if you actually have not watched that video yet, I would suggest that you go watch that one first and then you come back to this one. But before we get into it, please do me a favor. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. It really helps out with the channel. And then lets me know that you guys are rocking with the content. Guys, if you enjoyed my content, please make sure that you do subscribe. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers before the year ends. So please make sure you run it up. I appreciate you guys. Also, do not forget to join the Discord and subscribe to the gaming channel as well. And please make sure that you hype the video. Thank you so much. All right. This video is entitled Brett Cooper Blames Men for Her Falling in Love with Clavicular. Falling in love is insane. She has to do this for clickbait. There is no way that she genuinely believes that Brett fell in love with Clavicular.
All of this exposed Clavicular's fans, the tens of thousands of people watching him on Kick, the people clipping his videos on.
Yeah, you know, she went out of her way to meet another guy and blame.
That is not true. The video just started and she's already lying. Guys, she did not go to this fashion show to specifically meet.
See, this is why I'll be on YouTube for a little bit till I find something worth watching, you know? These days it's tough. All these fucking content creators that suck ass. Give me the baby. What? Oh, hell no. We gotta listen. We gotta, no. Be careful what you say. Henry Garcia should stand up. Damn. Bro, there's nothing on this. That's why you gotta search for something. Law, black. Yeah, Epstein. I agree with that sentiment. Yeah, I think this administration is toast. You know, I really do. The psychology of self-hatred. Why would I want to hate myself? Control your urges. Oh man. All right, let's see. Let's refresh this, dudes. Telling you, bro, you shit to watch. You guys want to watch why we're visiting Israel? Let me see something real quick on my feet.
If you have bunions and tight ankles, this is how to properly mobilize your ankles without hurting your bunion. All you need is a sloped surface. You can easily create one with a plank on a foam roller or use foam squat wedges. Lunge onto the platform with a leg that matches the slope direction. So, right foot on the slope that runs to the right, left foot on a slope that runs to the left. Now begin driving the knee forward over the toes. The benefit of doing this exercise on a slope is that it helps prevent the foot from overpronating and stops the great toe from collapsing into a bunion shape. Hold the position at end range for a minute or more as a static stretch, or move slowly through the full range.
Let's see what else we got. Raise fist, the what? Raise back, see? See what this kid started, bro. Oh my god, Fino, you fucking farted, bro. Oh my god, that must have been Toro. Jesus. Oh my lord, that opened the door, son. Oh my god, I can't even breathe, son. I can't even breathe right now, bro. Can't fucking breathe. Oh god. Let me say. Cheating clap. Oh, coffee's bad or what?
If you still think you grow in the gym, you're missing the one thing that can make.
No, you don't grow in the gym, grow while you're sleeping. I understand that. Shows body fat. Let's see what's up.
Okay, this is not a drill. Our sawtooth deadline is today. I need everybody's help. Wait!
We all want to get lean and look shredded like our favorite anime characters, Toji. But it's so difficult to eat right, being surrounded by processed junk foods, and being stuck at your desk 24/7. But what if I told you that there are 5 powerful Japanese rules that are not only simple to follow, but quietly keep you lean without the starvation? And even if you're an absolute glutton like I used to be, as long as you follow these techniques, getting shredded will be as easy as munching down on a can of Pringles. And it all starts with the first rule, Hara Hachi Bu! But Kevin, I don't know Japanese. What the hell does that mean? Listen, you don't need to know any Japanese to make this rule work for you. In fact, it's one of the simplest rules in this video that you can follow. And it works like this. Imagine you are Itadori and you are fighting some high-level cursed spirit. You can approach the fight in one of 2 ways. First way, you can go all out, expend 100% of your cursed energy to destroy it, and then be on your way. But the problem is, you didn't actually need to expend 100% of your effort and energy on some random gooner, because you're tiring yourself for no reason, and then suddenly Mahito will pop out of the bushes and murk you. The second way, though, is to hold back purposely. It probably doesn't take 100% of your energy to defeat this cursed spirit. In fact, it might only take 80%. And if you approach it this way, holding back your power and only going for 80%, you satisfy the goal without needing to go all out, and you still have some energy in reserve to protect yourself from the flurry of blows that Mahito will blast on your ass. For us, the cursed spirit isn't some white guy with 4 eyes. Instead, it's our own hunger. Let me ask you this. Do you need to be 100% full to completely defeat or satisfy your hunger? Do you need to be stuffed to the gills with 5 steaks and 20 sweet potatoes? Or would it only take 1 steak and 1 really nice sweet potato to satisfy your hunger? This is the exact mindfulness that Hari Hachibu teaches. If you eat until you're 100% full all the time, naturally the chances of you overeating skyrocket. But if you instead become more mindful of the food you're eating and how your body feels when you eat it, and you only eat to the point of satisfaction, you're going to have far more control, and it's a lot easier to stay lean without really trying. So, how can you apply Hara Hachibu to your life? Well, the general rule of thumb is to only eat to about 80% of fullness. To do this successfully, you need to start becoming more mindful of what you're eating and start eating slower. This gives your brain time to register, oh, how is my stomach feeling? And you'll actually be able to feel how much you've actually eaten. If 80% is way too arbitrary of a metric for you, how I like to do it is asking myself this question. If I stop eating right now, will I be okay?
Trying to bore us to sleep, huh? Fucking guy. Get him out of here. Where's the tomatoes at? We just missed 11:11. Actually, no, I set it up there. Alright, let's see. Let me find one video, put it up. Be the last one. I'm not gonna really say much because I'm gonna work out. Fry snacks, yeah, absolutely, bro. You know he's full of shit. That fool just did cocaine on his interview like last week. Let's see. Sexual refill. Really? Oh, yo, I'm about to just be out, bro. Yeah, I'm out of here, man. I appreciate whoever it is that's here. I'm out of here, though. I'm gonna bump this while I work out or some other kind of meditation. So, thank you for being here. Appreciate you, you know, all day long, son. Appreciate you, man. Hello, hello, hello. There we go. All right, y'all, I'm out. Thank you for being here. It's probably my mom, but yeah, it's funny.